Temporary Australians is proudly brought to you by Harley Davidson Australia, Fraser Motorcycles, Brotherhood CMC, Victory Motorcycles, the Australian Motorcycle Expo, Austrikes, and Think Right.
Hello and welcome to Temporary Australians. I'm Jonesy.
And I'm Hirsty.
What a busy week we had in Melbourne.
Melbourne Expo is just unreal. Heaps of people and those freestyle motocross bikes. Couldn't believe them.
Doing backflips, going crazy. It's like Greg Hirst on a weekend.
Only when I've got nothing else to do, mate.
Except he doesn't use a bike. Coming up on the show.
We check out last year's Melbourne Motorcycle Expo. Jonesy discovers what makes a highway patrol rider tick. We discover just how vast the riding options are in Western Australia. We check out the Silverwater Motor Festival. I find the perfect scooter for Jonesy. We discover the meaning of nicknames in the motorcycle scene. We find out what it takes to be a Bikey Chick. Jonesy checks out Royal Enfields and Hell Riders, and we find out what bikers keep from their mums. You ever wonder just how popular motorcycles are in Victoria? Then you should come to the Australian Motorcycle Expo when it's down here at the Convention Centre in Melbourne. There are bikes and people all over. It's enormous.
The main thing the manufacturers have brought out this year is all the 2013 models. Last week was the Milan show, which is called EICMA, and all the guys have frantically air freighted out all their bikes just in time for this show, which is great. There's some bikes here that have only been shown sort of once. I know Triumph has their new Trophy and the new Street Triple, which haven't been seen anywhere. Ducati has the Panigale, Honda have revealed some new models. Probably about 8 to 10 of the manufacturers will reveal new models here never seen before, which is great for our show in general and for the motorcycling public.
Very proud that we brought our trikes down to the Melbourne show. People love it. I mean, it is the best trike on the global market. Very impressed with the show so far.
Today we've got a new product called the Boardwalk, which is just behind us here, which is a classic beach cruiser style bike. It's a lovely looking motorcycle, very plain, it's not too blingy, it invokes memories of the past. The big long guards, the smooth styling. We're real happy to have it out. The customers have really been drawn to it, so it's been great.
Ever since I've been riding, there's been a thing about bikers hanging out near the beach. Well, I've had enough of that. I want a bike and I want to take my surfboard on it. But what can I do about it? Isabel, can you help me?
Yes, I think I can. If you look over here, we've actually got a surfboard on a bike.
So it has a charitable purpose. It isn't just to raise the profile of scooters.
No, but it doesn't do it any harm. It has got quite a lot of interest, and we've had a lot of people up there and having a look, and so I think it's had a bit of a dual purpose.
Friday morning I did get to have a real good look around, and everybody knows me for Ducati, but I love all the other brands as well, and I love seeing new stuff out and about.
Well, this year's Show and Shine has got a range of incredible bikes, from custom Harleys to Jappers to even a couple of Indians.
Melbourne loves motorcycles. Like, you can park your bike in Melbourne. In Sydney, they hate the motorcycle. I don't know why the hell that is, but Melbourne is a motorcycle city.
Is there any chance that these shows are going to become annual events again?
We'd like to see that happen. We're probably still a little bit early days. Because of the GFC, we started alternating the shows between Melbourne and Sydney, alternating with the car motor shows. Look, we think at the moment, every second year, alternating is still probably the way to go. It draws the crowds in, so that they're ready and raring to go by the time the second year comes around. But obviously we'd love to see that happen, but I guess we'll have to wait and see how things go at the end of this show.
Highway patrol officers always get a bad rap, but look, we're joined by Sergeant Ben McFarlane. He doesn't look bad at all. How are you, mate?
Oh, good, Jonesy.
What made you want to be a highway patrol officer?
Pretty much,
I wanted to do it from the time I joined the police force. The guys from Leichhardt Highway Patrol used to drive around when I was at Balmain in their flash V8 highway cars, and I thought, I'm going to do that.
Motorcycle officer, you're probably too young to remember Chips, or were you influenced by Chips?
I know about Chips, yeah.
You know about Chips.
Once I heard they were in a trailer, that sort of burned it for me, so...
That was it. You're riding a Harley, and Harleys with the police, like the Americans love Harleys, whereas in Australia they don't seem to be as much of a fan. Why is that?
I'm not sure. I guess we've sort of grown used to the Japanese product. Certainly since I started about 11 years ago on the bikes, we had Hondas, BMWs, German product obviously, and Yamahas, and then we got some Harleys recently, so we're trying them out too.
What do you reckon?
Look, I like them. They're a nice cruising bike. They handle a different way to a Japanese bike, but you can get used to it.
When you get pulled up and you ask that question, have you got a reason for speeding? Is there anything that you can say that will get you out of it?
Well, I can't give away any trade secrets, but look, generally we'll assess each case on its merits. Obviously, if it's a medical emergency or something, do you need an ambulance? 99% of the time they say no. All right, well.
So if I was to show a bit of cleavage, I was thinking that, because I've been working out.
It wouldn't work with you, mate, but...
I think I'd get locked up.
How big is the motorcycling community over here in WA?
I don't really know what to compare it to, but it's thriving. We've quite often you go to a pub and there'll be 15 or 20 bikes there on a Sunday, on a sunny day. There's a lot more money in WA now with the mining boom and stuff. A lot of guys fly in, fly out, so they can afford to lash out and buy new bikes and stuff.
Now, I must admit, coming from the eastern side of Australia, I did think Perth was basically flat, but I also noticed too there's a hill range to the east and a lot of good riding road by the look of it.
Yeah, there is. Lots of twists, turns, beautiful mountain, or if you want to call it mountainsides, but good country. And a lot for everything. If you want to go on the flat open roads, if you want to do some twists and turns, WA's got everything.
Through the Margaret River region, across the southwest of the state, across to Albany, and then through to Esperance. Absolutely sensational riding.
How would you describe it? Is it windy, hilly?
Yeah, it's very windy, a lot of forest down south, and then as you head east of Albany towards Esperance, lots of big open countryside, great roads, and not a lot of traffic.
And there's a lot of events that happen in WA in spite of the establishment trying to stop them. But we have great sand dragging events. There was Kalgoorlie, Westdale, Northampton, and they're an awesome event, awesome family day to go along to. And most of the guys that you see here, I've seen before. You know what I mean? It's they get out to the same sort of events and do the same stuff and love motorcycling.
We have a lot of long open roads. People are geared up for going long distances. It's kind of like Little Texas over here. They ride long distances and they have to have the right bikes to do it on.
Where are we, Hirsty?
Well, we're at the Silverwater Motor Festival and it's a beautiful day, mate. Lots of bikes and cars too, so it's a great start. Brotherhood CMC has run the Silverwater Street and Custom Motorcycle Show for 19 years and it's now the basis of this family-friendly event. Of course, Silverwater wouldn't be the same without a little bit of motorcycle advocacy. Now, we're celebrating our 35th anniversary this year and for the whole of our time we've seen it as important as a Christian club to not only participate in the culture and to share our faith, but also to, when possible, speak to government and try and create opportunities for motorcycle representatives to speak to government.
We had a reduction in CTP for motorcycles this year. Was part of the work the Motorcycle Council's been doing over the past few years. This is the first reduction in 10 years for motorcycle green slips.
And we've got to do something. This is a democratic country. You can't let this sort of legislation in.
So, Wayne, the important question is, will you come and visit me if I end up in jail?
I've got to be careful because I can be targeted under the consortium sections.
One of the things that I've learned over all these years is that if you don't fight legislation that's bad, then you know you're going to lose. You may not win, but it's better to go down fighting than sit around a fire and complain about, I wish the old days, were still here. Jonesy checks out Hoss's sand drag bike.
Okay. What the hell?
It's a 1,000 horsepower dirt drag bike, and the motor come out of a car that did 8 seconds at Eastern Creek.
And you thought you might make it go a bit faster?
It's 450 kilos, the bike, so the power of the weight's pretty good.
Yeah, and most of that would be engine. And does it ever blow up?
Yeah, we just came back from Biddendune and Perth 3 weeks ago, and we had this hub here on, and we twisted it 180 degrees. We're doing over 100 miles an hour, hit the nitrous, and we spun the hub out, as you can see. It's quite neat, eh?
yeah, that's pretty, makes a nice vase. You can hardly tell it.
The Silverwater attracts a large range of street and custom motorcycles, all vying for trophies and for the major awards, cash prizes.
The best bike at the show today went to bike number 20, the Blade Runner. So if you come down and get your trophy for that too.
Well, Silverwater, it's been a treat. I've had the best time. I'm looking forward to coming back next year.
Now I'm talking to Live to Ride's resident expert on nicknames, aptly named Meatloaf. Tell us how you got your nickname, mate.
Oh, Greg, gee, it's a long time ago. I bought an import album, taped it, ran around with that tape playing, and next thing you know, when he became a hit, people looked at the size of him, the size of me, and went, "You're a Meatloaf."
And so it stuck all those years?
Yeah, it did. It's been shortened to Loaf now because pretty basically I'm fat and lazy.
Now, nicknames are really common in the bike scene. Give us some examples of people that you know.
Oh, you've got guys like Scruffy, Squizzy, Slim. Sometimes they form part of their name, and sometimes it's just a description of them,
Animal, Ferret. Pugsley's a famous one too.
Oh yeah, Pugsley, the editor of Live to Ride, yes. He's a good bloke. Been working with him for 17 years. He used to be known as Woolly. He used to be known as Woolly because he looked like a sheep. When he cut his hair, he didn't look like a Woolly anymore, so he had to become a Pugsley. He looked like Pugsley off the Addams Family, so that was the way it went.
These sort of nicknames, your mates are the ones who bestow it on you.
Oh yeah, look, you don't decide what name, what you're going to be called. Your mates do, and it's usually a term of it's like a rite of passage, a badge of honour, and the fact that they love you and they're willing to call it to you.
That's going straight to the TV series.
Something that's catching a lot of people's eyes, including mine at the motorcycle show this year, are the Royal Enfield. I don't know much about Royal Enfields. I know that they've been around for a long time. Graham, how long have Royal Enfields been around for?
120 years nearly.
Is that all?
Forever, yeah. English company until the late 60s. They built a factory in India in the 50s and it's continued on, whereas the English one finished in the late 60s, early 70s, yeah.
A lot of people think they went away, but they didn't, did they?
Yeah, well, we're just a small niche market. We're only a small 20 kilowatt bike, but we've been around all the time, never stopped production.
And how versatile are they as a bike? Can you ride one every day?
Yes, you can. Some have ridden them around the world. You can ride in traffic, you can ride on the highway. They're great things, yeah.
And do they differ much? So, say I got one from 1962 to the latest model now. How different are they?
There's similarities. The engine's completely different, but there's similarities like the headlight and the seal, the toolboxes, the mud guards. There's some similarities that are continued right through.
And if I was to buy one of these, what would it cost?
You can start at $8,000 right away.
Gee, that's pretty cheap, isn't it?
It's good price.
And they look like this one here. What's this one? This is from and it's in
military colours. Yeah,
I picked that.
We call this as a C5, and this is in military guys, matte paint.
And they're pretty reliable.
They're very good, very reliable. Yeah.
And if you're a home mechanic like me, meaning hopeless,
no, it's fine. You can do an oil change. You can check nuts and bolts. They're fine. It's not rocket science. They're very user friendly.
And do you have to wear a pith helmet when you're riding it?
A must, an absolute must.
Got to have a pith.
You must have a pith.
Here you are, Jonesy, the perfect bike for you and the missus. You can go shopping on it, you can ride to work every day, and people will notice you no matter what you do. Cindy, you got to tell us, what's the idea behind the scooter?
Well, John Sample Automotive, who works with a lot of community organisations and charities, we donated the Scarabeo 200, and Nafisa, who is the founder of Animal Works, and he's also an artist, has put the paint job together, and they're going to use that to raffle it off and raise some funds for a rehabilitation centre.
So it has a charitable purpose. It isn't just to raise the profile of scooters.
No, but it doesn't do it any harm. It has got quite a lot of interest, and we've had a lot of people up there and having a look, and so I think it's had a bit of a dual purpose.
Now, scooters have taken off in Australia. Has that been a surprise?
Not really, not with the way things are going with the economy and with traffic and fuel prices and things like that. So I think they've become a really good alternative to cars and having troubles with parking and things like that. So no, and we're actually finding that scooters are doing really well for us.
Well, we're at the Australian Motorcycle Expo. We've seen lots of girls wandering around. We've seen girls on bikes, girls giving out pamphlets, and now we see the very impressive Bikey Chicks.
We started 7 years ago. We felt as though there was a real need in the market for female motorcycle clothing, and particularly for real size women, and usually over about the age of 30, because they were the ones who were really starting to get serious, the 30 to 50-year-old women.
There seems to be a lot more women getting involved in motorcycle riding. So are you getting a good response from the various places you go to?
Oh, we do. We meet so many fabulous women who are loving motorcycling, and even more and more single women out there. They suddenly find themselves single in their 40s, so they go out, get their licence, and they're on motorbikes and loving it. Selena and I have Bikie Chic adventures, where we usually take 35 women or so over the snowy mountains, and they just love it, the women.
What do you ride, Diane?
At the moment, my favourite is an F650 GS BMW.
Sounds like you're very passionate about it, mate.
Love motorcycling. It's a great passion, it's our lifestyle, and it's a career all in one.
Something that's great for someone in your family, a special gift, is a ride on a Harley, but perhaps they can't actually ride a Harley. Well, what about a chauffeured Harley trip? What about Hell Rides? I wonder what Hell Rides is about. Hey! Hello, Grim Spectre of Death.
We're here to take people for rides. In fact, we can do up to 60 people on the back of a Harley. Can you imagine?
What, at once?
Absolutely, yeah. We take them up. No, we can arrange 60 Harleys with 60 people on the back, and we can slowly make ourselves known to people as we cruise through the tunnels, through King's Cross and out to Bondi, Watson's Bay and Northern Beaches. We make an impression.
Okay, well, I think I just heard the Spectre of Death. You're called somewhere to knock on someone's door, so we'll let you go. And don't come around and see me anytime soon.
You're going to be one of my first clients.
Never seems to get tired of what you guys do. Did you notice that? They were just going off their brains every time you took a jump.
Yeah, no, the crowd usually tends to like what we do, so that's the main thing we do it for, the fans.
Describe what it feels like when you're flying between the ramps.
When you're letting go of the bike, it just feels like you're flying, I guess. Yeah, it's an awesome feeling. It's pretty much the closest thing you can get to actually flying.
What the boys do, they make it look far too easy for what the dangers that are occurred by it. One of our senior riders, Steve Minnie, he's over on Nitro Circus duties, 10 years with the team this year, and he had a real horrific crash about 11 months ago on a Nitro Circus show where he did a holy grab, threw the bike away and missed it to catch back onto it. So he went 75 feet without a bike and completely missed the down ramp and separated his shoulder, tore every muscle. The guys make it look way too easy for what it is. And, it's calculated, but there's still a big risk, I think, which is why the crowd seems to flock to it every time.
Have either of you come close?
At this stage, I think I'm up to about 18 broken bones, so...
Only 18?
Yeah, only 18 at the moment. Had a lot of crashes in my time. 2002 came pretty much close to death on the spot.
A lot of head injuries, broken my humerus, both ankles at the same time, both wrists at the same time, so it does happen.
So your mothers are going to be watching this. What do you want to say to them after those comments?
Mum actually doesn't know that I'm riding, so she's going to get a real surprise, isn't she?
Mate, what a great story. I love going to Melbourne with you, Greg.
Mate, I couldn't believe that freestyler hadn't told his mum what he does for a living. Boy, he'll be in trouble.
I haven't told my mum what I do for a living. She thinks I'm a lawyer. Anyway, we'll catch you next week on Temporary Australians. Shiny side up.
See ya.